Hello, and welcome to our Intro to World Cruises 2024. If you're thinking of taking a cruise all the way around the world in 2024, we have you covered. On this channel, we'll be talking about things like who takes world cruises, what to expect, how much they cost, how long they are, and of course, why you should take a world cruise. If you're interested in any of that, please like and subscribe, as there'll be lots more videos about World Cruises 2024 coming out. Today, in this Intro to World Cruises 2024 video, we're going to be talking about what to expect from some of the itineraries offered, some differences between the World Cruise offerings in 2024 versus in previous years, as well as how long these itineraries are and how much they cost. There are already 11 cruise lines that have announced their 2024 World Cruises, ranging from mainstream cruise lines all the way up to ultra luxury. While there are already 11 cruise lines that have announced World Cruises for 2024, it's expected that at least a couple more will be announcing them in the coming months. There are a mix of voyages offering full circumnavigations as well as those offering partial circumnavigations. For instance, going from Los Angeles around the world and ending in Piraeus or London, for instance. There are also a couple of voyages that their respective cruise lines have dubbed world cruises, but rather than be a full circumnavigation or even a partial circumnavigation, it focuses on a couple of regions very heavily. These will still be longer than usual itineraries, ranging well over 100 days, but they just focus on a specific region of the world very heavily versus circumnavigating it. The itineraries offered for 2024 are excellent. They heavily feature Asia, Australia, the Middle East, and even the Amazon River. While all of them will go through the Mediterranean, some of them heavily focus on the region, and some will even go as far north as Norway. Interestingly though, the only world cruise that's going to Antarctica or heavily exploring South America is the 274-night world cruise offered by Royal Caribbean. As we are still awaiting the world cruise itineraries from a couple of cruise lines, most notably Cunard, it is possible that we will see these additions. However, each year you typically will see a bit of a mix between those world cruises sailing to South America and Antarctica, or those that are going to Africa. It will be interesting to see how this impacts guest choices, as this year, more so than most, guests will be picking their world cruises based on cruise line, price, and the perks over the itinerary. It is worth noting, however, that while the world cruise itineraries are not heavily visiting South America and Africa or Antarctica, there are going to be grand voyages and other long voyages that are visiting these places heavily. So if you're interested in, for instance, circumnavigating South America and visiting Antarctica, or doing a circumnavigation of Africa, there are itineraries that these cruise lines, actually, the ones that are offering world cruises, will be offering in the next couple of years. So if that's something that you're interested in, if that's really an area that you'd like to focus on, there are cruises available that would fit that category. While speaking about itineraries, I would be remiss not to single out and mention the newest addition to the world cruise scene, Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean came in with a splash with their world cruise offering. They came in offering a mammoth 274-night world cruise. This is by far the longest world cruise currently offered, and is an interesting choice to offer for their first ever world cruise. Most cruise lines that offer world cruises also offer some mid-length cruises, 30, 40, even 70 nights, in addition to their world cruise offerings. It's going to be interesting to see in subsequent years if Royal Caribbean sticks with this ultra-long voyage, or if they decide to offer a shorter world cruise option. It will also be interesting to see if they start adding some of those mid-length cruises to their overall itinerary mix for the year. Also of interest is Viking, adding a second ship to its world cruise offerings for 2024. Viking will have 2 ships leaving just days apart out of Los Angeles, sailing largely the same itinerary. Viking has been known for being quite in demand for their world cruises, and they've obviously responded to that by increasing their capacity. My guess is with this that when they initially released the itinerary, they had a full waiting list, and rather than say, nope, you can't go, they decided to add another ship to meet that demand. Princess is continuing its tradition of offering 2 world cruises as well. However, Princess offers 1 world cruise during the Northern Hemisphere winter, leaving in January out of Los Angeles, as well as 1 during the Southern Hemisphere winter, which will be leaving in May out of Brisbane. Holland America Line will continue to offer its world cruise on their larger Vista class ship, which expands their world-class capacity coming out of this pandemic by nearly 700 guests. And while the itinerary is very important when selecting a world cruise, there are also world cruise perks to consider. Perks are always a fun and exciting part of these long and intensive voyages, and the perks for 2024 look incredible. If you are really interested in getting the absolute best perks for your world cruise, it is always advisable to work with a travel professional and to book early. Booking early will give you access to better perks with nearly every cruise line. The perks for world cruises are very dependent upon the cruise line, with more perks being offered for the luxury lines and less perks per se with the mainstream cruise lines. However, I think the price is reflective of what kind of perks you're getting. Some perks include things like business class airfare, shore excursions, exclusive events both shoreside and on board, as well as internet, laundry services, luggage services, complimentary beverages, onboard gratuities, and even onboard medical care. We'll break down which kind of perks are available in future videos where we dive more in depth into these respective cruises. All right, the last topic we're going to cover on this Intro to World Cruises 2024 video is how long these itineraries are and how much they cost. The shortest world cruise that's going to be offered in 2024 is coming from P&O Cruises at 99 nights. The longest itinerary, as we mentioned before, is coming from Royal Caribbean at 274 nights. Now, there are quite a few options in between those: 110 days, 128 days, a few in the 130, 145 day range. There's also one slightly on the longer side, 180 nights from Oceania. Now comes the question of how much does a world cruise cost? So world cruises can cost pretty much as you want. The sky is the limit as to how much a world cruise might be. To give you an idea though, the 99-night cruise on P&O going round trip from Southampton, that's available from as little as $12,500. Considering it's nearly 100 days, that's, I don't think, really that bad. However, the sky is kind of the limit as to how much you can spend on a world cruise. So for instance, the starting price for the Seabourn World Cruise sailing out of Los Angeles is $74,999. Now, P&O and Seabourn are very different cruise lines with very different inclusions, as well as, you know, the base cabin on the Seabourn Sojourn is a suite, whereas on P&O, that would be for an inside cabin. So there's going to be a big difference as to what you're getting with those prices. However, there's a large range of prices. So if you thought all world cruises were $50,000, $60,000, they're not. There's plenty of offerings that are significantly less than that. I am super excited for all of these world cruises to sail, and I'm so excited to see the world stage continue to expand with new cruise lines and cruise lines adding more ships and increased capacity. If you're interested in learning more about World Cruises 2024, please like and subscribe to this channel, as I will be publishing more content in the next few months about the different world cruises that will be offered in 2024.